Purpose. I tell people all the time that you were created on purpose for a purpose. You know, it might have surprised your parents that you showed up here, but you were no surprise to God. He already had your life in his heart. So take some time today, spend some time with your Father. Make sure you seek him for what your purpose is. And I promise you that the thing you're looking for in the universe is already inside of you. The gift of life and purpose, God has already put inside of you. And let me tell you, the best days that you live in your life will be those days where, number one, you're in God's will. Number two, living your purpose that he put you here for. All right, you guys, you're back live on the air, Regina Sunshine and Joshua Dickinson here on the Regina Sunshine Show. This is our purpose-driven living episode here on the Regina Sunshine Show. And we have, and he's not even a returning guest, he's a returning family member back with us today. Welcome to the show, Ric Mathis.
How y'all doing, man? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing
got a new
good.
Co-host, I see.
Well, he's a guest co-host.
Oh, he's a guest?
Yes,
oh, okay.
He's too busy to come here on a regular basis.
Sign right here. Hello, Sunshine.
I love it.
I love the growth.
Yes. Well, you know, brother, I like to mention how I met someone. I met you here in this studio.
Definitely.
You were here for someone else's show, and I was like, once I found out what you were doing and the work, you know, that you were involved in the community, I had to have you on our show. But remind our audience who you are and what you do.
My name is Ric Mathis. I am the producer and director of a film series called Black Friday. And basically what it is a film series that deals with how we value money and the importance of leaving a legacy for the next generation. So in the film, we offer practical solutions on how to build a legacy, how to leave wealth to the next generation.
Well, I have to say, when the last film debuted, Instinct Radio was in the building, I was so excited to see some of my personal heroes on the screen, like Joe Dudley. I'm an A&T alumni. And if you from the Greensboro area, you went to A&T, all you hear about is Joe Dudley around there because he is such a big inspiration and support of what we do. So I was so excited to see that Kennedy, your co-author, got to meet him. So I do want to mention, we're here today to promote the book, which I'm so excited about.
Oh, yeah.
And your co-author is one of our awesome girls for 2017,
okay.
Miss Kennedy Stewart. Yes,
11 years old, man. That has 3 businesses. I just spoke to her, you know, on the way over here, and she's told her I was doing the interview, so she wanted to tell you hello.
Oh, thank
She's
you,
off today. They're not homeschooling today because of what is it, President's Day or Veterans Day? One of those holidays. Yeah.
Put that closer to the camera.
So she wanted me to, you know, send her regard to you, her and her mom.
They are some phenomenal people.
Definitely.
So tell us why you decided that this book needed to be written.
Man, well, you know, after producing the film Black Friday series, you know, we screened the film from London to Alaska to Bermuda, actually in Ghana. So we screened the film several places, and the one thing that stood out is that, you know, we need a step-by-step process, and we need kind of like someone to hold our hand in walking through the process. So in the film, in Black Friday Part 2, we offer 7 practical principles that you can apply. You apply 1 principle per day. So I said, if we put it in a kid's book, then the kids will read it, but it will incorporate the parents because the kids are going to go ask the parents certain questions. Right. You see what I'm saying? So if you put it in a kid's book, you're getting everybody. You're getting from the beginning to the eldest. You know, so that's why I say, let's put this in a kid's book. Let's make it bright. Let's make it colorful because people now need colors. I'm real big on colors, and colors uplift you. And if you have vibrant colors, then they send off a certain energy. So we want people to be upbeat, and we want people to be inspired when reading this book. So we want it to be fun. You know, most of the time when we talk about money, it's dull. You know, it's done in a way where it's not relatable. And so with this book right here, we have people like Professor Griffin, and we have like David Banner, like you said, Joe Dudley. We have the billionaire Mike Roberts in it. We have Judge Lauren Lake. So we have people that are actually in the film that we just converted their information, and I revised it a little bit in order to make it fit in the book. We have Chef Aki in the book who, you know, she just saw the book for yesterday, and she was like, oh, my God, this is amazing. These colors, I love it. It's so bright and so vibrant. So, you know, and then the information in there is like, you know, is very profound. One of the things that we talk about in the beginning is where the term Black Friday comes from. The term Black Friday, it is said that it comes from the shopping day in Philadelphia. Okay, but they got it from somewhere else. It comes from back when our ancestors were sold on Wall Street, because we were the first stock sold on Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? So being that we were the first stock sold on Wall Street, everything that relates to capitalism and money is directly based upon us. We are literally the foundation that America is built upon. So the day after Thanksgiving, the slave owners used to sell our enslaved ancestors for half price so that they could end up in the black at the beginning of the year. So they would end the year in the black. All the inventory that they had, they would sell it for half price, and then they would be in the black at the beginning of the year. Now, Anthony Brado, who's also in the film, gave me this nugget of information that's featured in the film. If you think about being in the black and being in the red, where does those terms come from? Because money is green, why would they say being in the black, being in the red? Well, if you had healthy slaves, you were in the black because they represented the black people. If you killed your slaves because they were unruly, then you had blood on your hands, so you were in the red. So being in the black, being in the red directly relates to us. So like you said about the movie Black Panther, it's our time, it's our season. That movie gives a lot of information, and it makes us feel good, and it shows us in a different light. So I'm excited about it, and I'm just glad that the movement now is really being ushered in now, because a lot of us don't respond until white people say it's okay. So now you have Disney saying it's okay to put on your African attire. So now you see a lot of us dancing, putting on. I ain't never seen this many dashikis in my life. Right. Like they ain't wear this many dashikis with Kwanzaa, for Kwanzaa season. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest season. But, at the end of the day, I look at it positively, and I'm glad that it's happening. My only thing with the film, with everything that's going on, is that $361 million that was made is going in Walt Disney's bank account, not in a black person's bank account. So therefore, that's what we got to, from the creation of it to the producing of it to the distribution of it, we got to own it. Imagine if that was going in our account.
Absolutely.
And it's circulating in the community.
And I know that's what your whole movement is about.
Exactly.
From beginning, from manufacturing to distribution, that we begin to take ownership in those areas. One of the things I'm glad that you mentioned about the book, because I thought as I was researching what you had done, that parents need this information. So I think it's so beautiful that you've already considered that the parents are going to get it too. They're going to get it by way of the kids, which is how a lot of things happen in our community. Kids come home and usher in change in a household. So I think it's powerful that you took that approach. Did you know when you were writing it, that was kind of the approach?
Oh yeah, because I put that part in here about Wall Street. So when we talk about Wall Street, that's in the very beginning of the book. Right here on about Wall Street. Then you see Professor Griffin now. He started the conversation now. But right there, that we put that in there about Wall Street. Us being the first stock, and the actual bond was a certificate that showed that the slave master owned this amount of slaves. Because you think about it, you couldn't bring 300 slaves down to the bank and say, hey, I own 300 slaves. You see what I'm saying? You had to have a certificate, which is the bond. We were the stock. The certificate was the bond, the stocks and bonds.
Wow. I have to say that from watching your film series, I continue to learn. So I'm looking forward to these books we getting ready to take to the house today.
And then the other part I put in, I'm going to say this real quick. The other part I put in there is a part about buying a whole life insurance policy. If you buy a whole life insurance policy on your newborn baby, as long as you're current on that payment never changes.
That's right.
A whole life insurance policy has living benefits as well as death benefits. So now you can borrow money. Now this child can now borrow money against that life insurance policy to start a business, to go to college, to do whatever they want to do, buy a house, whatever they want to do. But I also put that in there. I didn't reference it and make the connection. That's in the follow-up book. But a lot of our ancestors, they had slave policies on the cargo, which was our ancestors, and they made money if they made it here or they didn't make it here. They still made money. And New York Life Insurance is one of the life insurance companies that has apologized for that, for benefiting from that.
Wow,
so.
Josh?
As I was listening here, I was wondering, where'd you get the inspiration from? This just didn't come from anywhere. What inspired you?
Man, the film series was inspired when our a lot of our people were being slaughtered in the street by the hands of the police.
Okay.
So I said, why, you have all of these killings that have taken place. And really, I think one guy was convicted of something recently, but at the time, nobody had been like really found guilty of murder or, these things. So I was like, well, what is it? Why don't they value the life of a black person when you see on camera that this person was killed at the hands of a cop wrongfully? You hear on the audio tape with Trayvon Martin where the operator was telling them to stand back, to back down, and he still proceeded. And then he kills the kid and nothing is done about it. So I'm like, what is it? So I said, I came to the conclusion that we live in a capitalistic society. Only thing white folks value is the money. Like Donald Trump say, you got to hit them in the P. But I say, instead of hitting them in the P, you got to hit them in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So you hit them in the pocket, they understand that. You know what I'm saying? So if you hit them with money. So if you hit them where it hurts, where they can feel it, then now we can have a conversation. Because the $1.3 trillion that circulate, that goes through our hands every year, doesn't circulate in the community. And that's part of the reason why we're not respected as a community, as a group, as a voice. Because we're not leveraging that capital that we have. Or us really being the resource of this country, of America. The number one export for America is what? Entertainment. Who is that entertainment based on most of the time? Us. Mm-hmm. What controls the minds of the people of the world? Media, entertainment. If you travel, when I travel to Ghana, when I travel to Spain, you see people mimicking us around the world, wanting to be like us. In Ghana, they got pictures of Ludacris. They got pictures of Chris Brown at the barbershops because when they go get their haircut, that's what they want to look like. Wow. Wow. So, so it's stuff like that that really makes us understand our value. When we understand our value, then we can really transform the world. Like how if you've seen Black Panther, the king that came from America, or the young kid who didn't know and found out he was king, he looked at things a different way versus the king that was there. But he didn't really understand his value. He didn't really understand his power. He was acting emotional. He had the same mindset as the Western world, a scavenger. Let's go kill him. Let's go slaughter him. You see what I'm saying? But the other king was more kind, more loving, more forgiving, where he spared the king that fought him for the throne. He spared his life, and then he ended up saving his life in the end, So, he was loving, and that's how you have to be in order to survive moving forward. I think you got to have that loving spirit and that loving heart. That's what part of what they're saying in the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting that you chose your co-author to be Kennedy Stewart.
Oh yeah, Kennedy was amazing. Of all the
people you could have chosen, why Kennedy?
Well, I mean, she narrates the film, number one, and then with her, she can go out and be a voice and articulate the book, to peer to peer. Mm-hmm. So she can go out and she can talk to 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she's passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Her mom was sharing with me earlier how she literally was in tears because she couldn't help the kids at her school. She goes to a private school. She's homeschooled. But her grades were suffering as a result of her helping other kids. So her mom says, okay, you can't help the other kids until you pull your grades up. And she was literally in tears because of that.
She's special. You meet her and you know that this is someone who's going to, in this next generation, rise up and really be a leader in some amazing ways. Where can we get the book?
You can get the book online at blackfridayfilmseries.com, blackfridayfilmseries.com. We also have it on Amazon and on ebook. This is the first print, so there are a couple of revisions that I have to make in here before we make it available online, before we make it available on ebook. But right now you still can order it. The people are loving the book. It's getting amazing feedback. I'm like, wow, this book, probably will get more feedback than the film because it's directly relating to the kids.
Absolutely.
You know.
And it doesn't feel like, and this is what I was thinking, you know, in the film, a lot of adults feel like you're coming for them, and you
Nah.
are. And I mean, you're trying to make sure they get the information that they need.
But-
But see, when you bring it in this way, it's like you slide it into
Oh,
the
yeah.
house, you know,
Yeah.
in a way that they can digest it without it feeling like, you know, because a lot of people won't acknowledge that some of the things they've been taught about money and finances are wrong. And until you acknowledge that and, you know, kind of, you know, step back and say, you know what, let me learn something new. Let me hear some new information. Then that's the challenge. But when you bring it in this form, then,
Yeah.
you know, it's a way that they can kind of, you know,
And then
take
it's an
it in.
easy read, you know, it's about 30 pages, so it's nothing that's big and intimidating, because a lot of times, you know, you see a big book, you're like, whoa, I don't know if I have time to read that. You know, everybody is on this time thing, so that's why I wanted to make it small. The book has 7 principles, right?
Okay.
The first principle is to follow your dollar. So the first thing that he would get, he would learn how to follow his dollar. There's a chart in the book with Follow Your Dollar that basically is an estimate of what the annual expenses are of a person. So he'll get that his largest expense is going to be his housing expense. The next largest is going to be transportation. So if he figures out a way to take care of housing and transportation, then 50% of his budget, his living expense, is already covered. So therefore, if you buy a house cash, like they had houses around here for $10,000, $12,000, you buy a car cash, now that's 50% of your household budget, or your budget for yourself, that you don't have to worry about. You see what I'm saying? So now you're already ahead of the game, because if you think about any household budget, those are the 2 most expensive things. So now you have more working capital to work with.
That's right.
And then the next thing he would get, just give you 2 quick things. The next principle is value your time. So in the film, Dr. Boyce Watkins says, when I learned that there were 8,760 hours in a year, I knew that I had enough time to do anything I wanted to do in life.
That's right.
So when you look at those hours, and you learn how to properly manage that time, then you will be on your way to succeeding.
There you go.
Because time is your greatest commodity. You see what I'm
Sound like a
saying?
book for adults.
Yeah.
It
That's
does.
hey,
It is.
but it's
I wanna
done.
read
It's
that.
done in
I'm
a
getting
way.
it. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
It's done in a way where, you know, I wanted to make it so a 5-year-old can understand it. So when a 5-year-old says, okay, you know, like Dr. Mike Roberts, who's, you know, the billionaire that's in the film, he says there are 86,400 seconds in a day. That's 24 hours. What you do with those 86,400 seconds determines how you live and determines how your kids live.
That's right.
But each one of those seconds is a moment in time. But the moment you think about the moment, it's already gone. So when you have ideas and you have things that you're thinking about doing, you have to act on it in that moment. You can't procrastinate.
I love
So,
it.
so I'm ready. I'm ready. So, you know, you got mine. You said you got something in the car.
Yeah, we have something in the car, definitely.
So-
So yeah, but that's, you know, that's the book in a nutshell. So, you know, the 7 principles real quick is just, number 1, follow your dollar. Number 2, value your time. Number 3, invest in you, invest in your health, your wealth, and yourself. Because, you know, money is nothing without health.
That's
You can
right.
make all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, then it doesn't matter. Steve Jobs couldn't save his life with all the money that he had. He couldn't buy himself another life. Number 4 is collaboration beats competition. I heard Dr. George Fraser say 85% of doing business is relationship.
That's right.
If you can't maintain a relationship with somebody, you're not going to maintain the business, and you're not going to make any money.
I'm glad you say
You
that
know.
because a lot of people now, one of the things I talk to kids about is
Uh-huh.
the new motto is no new friends or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that's setting
Nah.
yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
That's what is being pushed
That's
on
what's
our
being
children.
perpetuated, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's principle number 4. Collaboration beats competition, because it's better to collaborate than to compete. Number 5 is support your community first. That means that's just a cooler way of saying buy black. You know what I'm saying? So buy black, you know, what I say, buy local but sell global. And number 6 is to become a global citizen. With the cell phone now, the cell phone has literally turned the world into a village. And I talk about that in the film. So you can reach, you can contact, you can learn about anybody around the globe through your cell phone. You can communicate with anybody around the globe with your cell phone. That's principle number 6. Become a global citizen and also become a digital citizen. I talk about Bitcoin and the blockchain, just really allowing people to understand what that is, because the blockchain is really going to totally revolutionize the way business is done, the way a profile of us is done, period. You know, with the blockchain, for those who don't know, is just a block of information. So what's happening now is you're going to have a block of information online or in a private internet. It's like an internet, but it's not like where anybody can find it. But there'll be a private block of information on you that's going to tell your whole medical history, that's going to tell everything that you own, going to tell everything that you've ever done and that you're thinking about doing. So there's going to be a block of information that's going to sit on the blockchain. And then the last principle is pretty much you are your brand. So you need to be conscious and mindful of what you do and how you do it. You know, you really need to know who you are and know what you're posting on social media too, because, you know, once you post things on social media, once you post it, you can delete it, but you can't take that back.
Yeah, it's forever.
Yeah. So that's what it is. You know, that's what the book is about in a nutshell.
We thank you for being you, brother, for coming
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
Continuing the movement. And I love the fact that you've taken just new forms. Same message, but you just transformed in such a way that you can reach people maybe that you weren't reaching before.
Oh, yeah. So the Kids Money book, 7 principles that every child should know about money. You know, you can check it out on BlackFridayFilmSeries.com, BlackFridayFilmSeries.com.
And give them your social media as well.
And the social media, everything is Black Friday Film Series. So if you go to Instagram, Black Friday Film Series. If you go to Facebook, Black Friday Film Series. If you want to email us, BlackFridayFilmSeries@gmail. So Black Friday Film Series, everything is Black Friday Film Series.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Your busy schedule to come on through.
Definitely.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Antoinette Tuff is here. We can't wait for you to meet her and hear her story. You're live with Regina Sunshine and
Joshua T. Dickinson
here on the Regina Sunshine Show.
Here we go.
All right, you guys. You're back live here with Regina Sunshine and Joshua Dickinson here on the Regina Sunshine Show. This is our purpose-driven living episode, and we are so honored and blessed to have live with us now Miss Antoinette Tuff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Regina. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today.
Wow. Well, before we get started in the interview, I always like to mention how I met someone. I want to give a big shout out to Instinct Radio family, Dr. Marquita Blades. She reached out to your staff and was able to book you here for the show. So thank you, Dr. Blades, so much for this opportunity. Where do we start, Josh? You ready?
First start with saying thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. For what you did. You saved, more than likely saved a lot of lives that day. Thank you.
Well, what I would say is thank God. When you're on the battlefield for the Lord, it's not always easy, but God is always in control. He's always sitting high and looking low.
Wow.
Well, I thank God for giving you the knowledge to do that.
Most
Because
definitely.
while we thank God, we also have to be able to receive what God has, because He gives that to everybody, but not everybody would have been courageous enough and in tune enough to do it. So I thank you, via God. How about that?
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I've got several questions, and with the way y'all start the interview, it kind of made me jump around. One of the things you said in an interview that I watched was that as you listen to the tapes, that it doesn't even sound like your voice to you. So you knew that God had taken over during that situation. So it's like acknowledging directly that the Holy Spirit was in control, as you say, at that moment, and you were able to operate in a space that on your own, maybe you wouldn't have been able to operate. Do you remember what it felt like? Now, I mean, now you're on this side. I know you've told the story probably, thousands of times now, right? But when you think about what you said in that interview, that you don't even recognize your own voice, and so you know it was not you there alone. Do you remember what that felt like in the moment?
Well, first of all, we were pain meeting pain. 2 days before that, I went on Wesley Chapel to commit suicide. So that's why I said it had nothing to do with me. It wasn't that I did something that everybody else did differently. It was God calling me for an assignment. 2 days before that, I wanted to give it all up because I was losing my 33-year marriage, the man that I had been with since I was 13 years old. But God in his sovereignty said, no, not today, daughter. No matter how many cars you walk in front of, I'm still going to allow them on this busy street to swerve around you to know that today you got purpose. So it's not that I don't know who I was on that day. I didn't know who I was, because in all reality, every breath that I breathed was all wrapped up into a man that I had allowed to be in control of my life, who was already at the point, my next God. I didn't realize that I was putting him before God. And God said, I have no other gods before you. So what he did was show me sovereignty in the moment to be able to see that at the end of the day, no matter what it looks like for you, I'm going to bring you out, but I'm going to bring you out for a purpose. And the purpose that I'm bringing you out for is 870 kids is sitting down the street waiting on you in 2 days. And even though you on your lunch break right now and need to be at work, 870 kids is waiting down there. A gunman is going to pass several schools to get to your school. He going to park his car right next to your car. And if that wasn't enough, I'm going to allow you to get a phone call wanting in 7 days they wanted $14,000. Now, I think they didn't get the memo that my husband just left me and took all the money, because I ain't had I ain't had gas money, no food to put on the table. But God still in his sovereignty lined up for me to be late, for me to be happen to fill in for the secretary, which I normally didn't do, to be in front office at the moment that the gunman walked in. But what happened is the gunman, the actual secretary went out one door. The parent went out another door. So I do this call right here. The parents, you know how you did that call for fathers?
Yes.
I'm going to do this one for parents. How that gunman got into school was the parent, when she went out the door, she was kindly being nice and held the door open for the gunman. Now, how many of us do that on a normal basis? You know, you just normally say, okay, you know, you want to get in, you just go back and you hold the door, but you think nothing of it. But she didn't know that she was letting danger in, and that it was going to continuously be a dangerous life for all of us in that next hour or so that we were there.
Wow. I heard so much in that statement. Jack, I'm not normally speechless.
Wow.
You know, when we think about the things that happen in our life, people often call it coincidence, right? And the things that you're facing, but we don't recognize that there's like this path that's being laid for you to get to the space that God divinely created you to be in for a moment such as this. And in that moment, everything in your life changed.
Oh, yeah.
Everything in your life changed. Tell us about the change in Antoinette, not just in your life, the change in Antoinette because you were there in that moment.
Well, what the change was first of all, me recognizing who I am. I didn't know that. I remember one of the doctors told me in the process of me going through this, he said, I want you to get in the mirror and I want you to introduce you to you. And I was like, what is that? Because we don't, you know, I'm Antoinette, what you want me to do?
And you said in the process of going through this.
Right, in the process of going through my suicidal moments, because even though the gunman came into the school and all of that was, you know, roller coasting down for me, I was still in a state of mind that I just came through this ordeal with a gunman. My husband is still not there, so I don't have my best friend I can talk to. So even though I'm sitting here going through all this, I'm still trying to figure out, what does this look like for me? Who do I talk to? I didn't have anybody to talk to. My life was in a downward spiral. So people thought, oh, okay, you know, the gunman came in and changed your life. No, I was still in the state of mind of, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And it was not until, and I was sick every year, having major surgery every year. God was just allowing me to still go through this process. It was not until 2016 I was about to be able to have an event here in Atlanta. God wound up laying me on my back. I had emergency back surgery. And so I got into this back surgery. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get out because the doctor said it was going to, wasn't going to be that harsh. Right. I was going to be able to get up. Well, when I woke up, I couldn't get up. I could not walk or do absolutely nothing for 21 days.
So that's 2016. When did all this occur for those of them who don't know? When did the attempted suicide, the separation from your husband, the school potential shooting, when did all this happen?
So it all started, my life started roller coasting in April of 2012. And the gunman came into the school in August the 20th, 2013. And so then I wind up still roller coasting, still trying to process all that God had me in, trying to understand this new life and trying to understand who I was. It wasn't until I laid on that bed trying to figure out who am I had had all these experiences but still not getting it. God said, I live in Dallas, Texas. He said, I want you to pack up a bag and get a one-way ticket and come to Atlanta. And I'll tell you what to do. Now, normally we don't really adjust the unknown. But when God got you on the plane, he don't give you all the details. He just tell you what to do.
That's right.
And so I'm sitting there like, okay, this got to be the devil. This ain't God telling me to do that. He ain't gonna tell me to go somewhere. Don't give me the plan up front. I need to know, I need to know A, B, C, D. But he wasn't giving me that. He just said get a one-way ticket and go to Atlanta. But that one-way ticket to go to Atlanta was what changed my life. It changed my life because for the very first time, I was okay to be Antoinette Tuff. I was okay and could look at myself in the mirror and say, Antoinette, meet Antoinette. Antoinette, love Antoinette.
That's right.
And Antoinette, validate Antoinette today. I could look in the mirror and say that to myself without crying. So when God told me to come to Atlanta, I didn't get it. But what he did was he allowed me to launch my own one-on-one mentoring program back into that same school district where the gunman held me hostage. Because for me, I always had a heart for my babies. I had mothers calling me from Atlanta and my home in Dallas because their children was, up and down and just unruly. And I'm like, ain't nothing about no unruly. What's going on with my baby? So, but they could still remember hearing me walking their children through. So I was getting all these phone calls, but I never knew that was my purpose. I was just still in Dallas, still doing what I normally do, what I love to do. It's make a difference in people's lives. So I wasn't getting that. And so when I came and bought that one-way ticket, I went back into that school system and I launched my own one-on-one mentoring program called Kids on the Move for Success Discovery STEAM Mentoring Program, where we're affecting about 700 kids' lives. And so I do one-on-one. We're looking for mentors to be able to come in and pair up our kids. So just like you all come in and had Rick to come in, we actually looking for mentors in that STEAM field, that science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So our kids know they don't have to bounce a ball. They can be having entrepreneur mindset in third grade.
That's right.
They can get one-on-one so they don't have to make decisions that's going to affect their lives for a lifetime. And so what I do now is I'm on the ground and I'm with my babies. It's just a feeling that you could never imagine when God places you in your purpose.
Yes.
To be able to see what it is that you're doing. And so I didn't know when I wrote my book, Prepared for a Purpose, right? So I wrote this book and God allowed me to be able to get the title, but I didn't always understand what that meant either. And so when you write something and God starts laying out, I call it the red carpet.
Girl, go ahead.
He gives you, he does the red carpet just a little bit when you're born. He starts the process. But then he rolls out a little bit and you get these blessings. And then he throws you these little darts and he stops it so you can process it. And then he comes back and gives you some more blessings and he rolls it out just a little bit more. And so I'm now, for me, on another part of my red carpet.
It's not always an easy place, but there's peace because you know this is where I was put. So whatever you face, you can face it and not worry about it because you know God divinely created me to be in this space. Right. And you're operating in that. And that's why all the gifts are coming. That's why all the blessings are coming, because you're walking in a space that you were created to be in. And I'm so thankful that you even took the time to come and share this with us because, books like people need to hear this because a lot of people are still walking around wondering, why am I here? Who am I? They don't love who they see in the mirror, and they're still trying to figure out, why was I put on this planet? But everything you need is inside of you. The love you have for the kids, this mentor, all that was inside you before any of this happened. It's just that you began to move in spaces where it began to be drawn out of you so that you could begin to express that. I just had to say that, Josh.
All right.
Anything?
No, I'm just reading the back of it, and it says we should use her example to teach our children's leaders, any of our leaders really, and all of our children, the value of compassion and the power of empathy.
Yes.
Speak on that, because that's something that the brother Rick brought up too as well about having compassion and empathy in our heart for it. Well, how does that speak to you, or what does that speak about you?
So what I do is I do professional speaking too. So I go into businesses, into schools, and I teach people my tough tactic principles. And that's compassion, confidence, and control. And no matter what you're doing in your life, you need all 3 C's. Mm-hmm. And we can't function without them. And so what I do is when people all over the world donate to me, and don't stop them donations because we need them, because my baby need them few dollars.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And they even need them fives, because them fives make you be able to do something with them. Mm-hmm. And so when people come in and they donate, I go back into those schools and show those principles to my kids. So I just don't do it with adults. I have a young lady who just called me, and she says there's a senior citizen center, and they was like, we really want you to come in. And she said, but I don't know what to do. I said, I got you. Because we do babies, adults, and senior citizens. I'm going to come in and bless you all. And matter of fact, I'm going to come in and give you some books to be able to bless some mofo. Because when I bless you, I know that at the end of the day, you're going to take that compassion, confidence, and control and bless the next generation. Right. So we are now on the front line, changing lives for the kingdom of God.
I feel like we should have been taking notes, Josh, from the beginning of the show. From the beginning of the show,
watching and take these notes because, like I said earlier, I believe God places people in certain places, and I'm honored to be here today and hear what you're sharing. And I think the world needs to hear what you're sharing. I don't think I know. The world needs to hear what you're sharing, because now we're at a point where we're moving away from compassion and empathy. Like I told when I was talking to Brother Ric Mathis about even children now, they're becoming more isolated. I don't need anybody else, or the new thing is to belittle somebody or not show compassion. So the message that you're sharing is a message that the world needs to hear.
Well, something that I teach my mentees at my mentoring program. So I started out that I was just going to have 3rd and 4th grade. But I told you about those parents. So now those children in the 8th and 10th grade. So they are now my peer-to-peer. So we all go together and do stuff. So I wind up taking them to like the Black History College Expo. I took my babies out to Spelman to an actual robotics class. They had never been outside of their community. They're foster kids and homeless kids and at-risk kids. So they was like, well, where is Spelman? They had no idea. All they see is what they see in their communities every day. And so for me, it's like, how do we now come together, stop talking, and put some action to it? Because we got a lot of talk, but we ain't got a lot of action. And when you don't see action, you see what you see going on in our communities and in our neighborhoods. And what I'm learning today, it don't exempt where you live. It don't exempt who you are. It don't even exempt the color of your skin. It happens to all of us. So how if all of us gonna come together and say, no more are you taking my babies. No more are you going to take my children and they don't know that they got a destiny and a plan and a purpose. No more am I going to allow them to be able to allow the enemy to snatch them. Because we going to come together as bold soldiers together, snatching our babies out the fire, allowing them to be able to see that they too got purpose. And it starts from the womb when they're born.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So powerful. Someone's listening today and they're going through some of the struggles you were going through. And they're facing challenges that they don't feel like they can overcome. What is your word of encouragement to them?
What I would say to them is that, first of all, go to that mirror. Go to that mirror and look at yourself and love yourself today. Introduce yourself to yourself. Go to that mirror and allow yourself to cry. Because a lot of times we don't hear the cry. Because that's what our children are doing, are crying out. Mm-hmm. And no matter what you're feeling today, know that every moment is subject to change. See, for me, I couldn't take it day by day, week by week. I couldn't even take it hour by hour. I had to take it moment by moment by moment. And so now my moments are starting to change. But my moments are changing because I first put God first, me second, and forget the rest. Why? Because it's called self-love, because I love me today. So what I would tell everybody today is that God said he'll give you peace that pass all understanding. And so no matter what you looking like, no matter what you feeling like, and no matter which place of your hair is out of control, like all of ours do someday, God still do it before you got up. So love on you today. Go get yourself an ice cream cone. Get you a 50-cent ice cream cone from McDonald's and take you a good sit down and say, Antoinette, with your ice cream cone and lick it real good. And no, because see, for us, we act like we got to have all this money to do something. Start small.
Yes.
You can't go outside and walk because it may be raining, but you make the sunshine with your one ice cream cone for 50 cents. And then love on you today. That's what we do today.
Right.
Yeah, it don't take a lot. I had to realize that because we want to look for them diamonds, and if somebody else going to come back and say, baby, I love you. You know what I did on Valentine's Day? I loved on me on Valentine's Day. And then I went and took my babies, gave them some candy, and loved on them so they can be able to love. Find you somebody to love on. Them kids will love to see you right there just a little bit. Go read one of them babies. They love to see it. And if you can't find something, go to kidsonthemoveforsuccess.org and come on and volunteer with us.
Say it again.
Kidsonthemoveforsuccess.org. Come on over there and be a volunteer.
How about this? We said it's better to do what? Collaboration and competition?
That's it.
So, hey, I want to collaborate.
That's it. Come on. I tell you, we take them all.
Okay.
So whatever you can do, we take donations, we take volunteers, we even take mentors. We need everybody in the community of Atlanta to stop sitting and come on over to kidsonthemoveforsuccess.org and make a difference in our next generation in this Atlanta area. We got to do it.
I feel like there's a lot of collaborations in the room that's going to happen today.
Oh, yes.
Once this is over, right, Rick?
Yeah. We've already passed our business cards because we ain't going to let the studio be a moment. I realize that everything is for destiny. And if you don't take advantage of it, it ain't because you didn't have the opportunity. It's because you let it pass you by.
That's right.
Well, we have always said, Jack, Trey, and I, that this is a place of divine connections. We believe God has given us a space, not just for media, but a place for people to meet so that you can collaborate and go out into the community and do greater work. We keep saying what? Go ahead, Jack. What you going to say?
I'm sure just Rick being in here so much, he understands and know that it's true. I know every time he done came in here, it's some kind of connection. There's some numbers that change, some project working on in the future. Mondays are magical.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, tell us where we can get your book.
They can get my book at AntoinetteTuff.com. And they can also visit me at kidsonthemoveforsuccess.org. Those are my two websites. On my Antoinette Tuff, they'll be able to see the book, and they'll also be able to see my movie that came out on Lifetime.
Yes, tell us about that before you go. Tell us about the movie before you go.
I wanted to go back and show people what that looked like. I was an ordinary woman, just a mom, just a bookkeeper. And I wanted them to be able to see God takes ordinary people to make them extraordinary people. And so my movie is called Faith Under Fire. Tony Braxton is playing me on a Lifetime movie. And so I wanted people to be able to go back and see what that looks like in the background, how God works in all of our lives, in ordinary people's lives to make them extraordinary people.
So, yeah, just bring Tony Braxton with you next time.
Well, Josh.
Oh, that's something else. That's another
I was going to say, well, we're not going to invite Josh back for that one.
How much of a say-so did you have in the movie being made as far as the different levels of things that were happening in the time aspect of it? How much of a say-so in the movie that you have?
Well, I had a whole lot of say-so because I was on set.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And so for me, it was important that we had every detail that, see, some of those teachers and those that were on the back scene getting the kids out never had an opportunity to tell their story. And so I wanted their story to be told in my movie. So even down to the principal at the school was a male, but the person that was getting the kids out was assistant principal who was a female. And so in my movie, as you see it, the principal is a female. I went to that much of a detail because I wanted people to know that educators are not just sitting educating. They're protecting their babies. They're also making sure that your babies are safe. But on the other side, they're human just like we are. So we can't just go to schools and just bash our educators every day when they're sitting on the front line with our babies.
That's right.
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
That's what's up. Well, I thank you so much for being here. I really do. Can you hang around to the end of the show? Because we're going to bring everybody back together to close out together.
Oh, you know,
That
I
sounds
got
good?
you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And we come back. Helena Kelleese is here. And I can't wait for you guys to meet her live on the Regina Sunshine Show. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine and Joshua Dickinson here on the Regina Sunshine Show. This is our purpose-driven living episode, isn't it? Man,
it's been life-changing already, and we just about halfway through.
That's what I was thinking.
This is awesome.
And our next guest is Miss Helena. I want to just say Smith, right? But I know for branding purposes, it's Helena Kelleese. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I like to mention how I met someone. I met you at Mays High School.
Yes,
You're another fellow educator out here on what I call the front lines every day with our babies. But you are also the founder of serve.co, servecommunity.org. Please tell us about yourself and your organization.
Well, my name is Helena Kelleese. I am from Charleston, South Carolina. I guess making a long story short, my background is in public relations, but I've always had a passion for youth development. So I work with several organizations, Atlanta, South Florida, back at home, right here in Georgia, even North Carolina, with just putting curriculum and programs together for kids. So I've always been just, Auntie Helena in any situation that I've been in. And so moving back to Atlanta, coming from South Florida, I love to serve. I love to travel. I love making people happy. I love making people smile. I just, sometimes personality just come in the room, light up a room. I'm just that person. So I was just sitting back and I was talking to a friend of mine, Brian Smith. He's another educator and youth advocate here in Atlanta, and I was just telling him, I was like, I really want to do something. I want to do something else. I was in AmeriCorps at one point. I'm not serving anymore. Like, I need to be doing something. And we were just playing around, and I said, what, serve community, ServCo. That's what I want to do. And I just pretty much kind of wrote it down, what it looks like. So basically, ServCo it stands for Serve Community. It's a community or membership-driven traveling community service organization. So what we do is we travel and we serve. Another component of that, I was like, okay, well, it's just not enough for us to volunteer and serve other people. I got to get back to my babies. I got to get back to my kids. So I created a service learning curriculum for them to kind of teach them the foundation of service, of giving back, what that looks like, how they can be involved right where they are. So that was important to me, as well as launching our teen lifestyle clinic for high school students, kind of being a resource for them. There's so many kids in our community that are just like, man, I don't know what to do, no guidance, it's not enough just for them to go to school and just get content, but more so, what can I do outside of these classroom walls? So I said, you know what, I'm going to launch something where y'all can come and get whatever help that you need, whether it's college, career, and trade is very important, trade readiness, because not everybody wants to go to a 4-year college. Yes. So it's important to introduce them to different things like trade, what that looks like, jobs, that's a big thing, creating those opportunities and how to present themselves. Community service hours is a big one for us, and just so many resources that they need. So I decided to do a teen lifestyle clinic that's going to continue. So that's ServCo.
Girl. We met, like I said, on the education field, but immediately the conversation turned to this, which is obvious that this is something you're passionate about, and that that is a part of why you're here. What does it feel like to walk in these spaces now that that you were created to walk in? Because, like you said, you were looking for something. Yeah. You were looking for this, and now you're able to not only do this for yourself, but to help other young people find that same space. Right.
Well, the first thing, because I didn't know if this would mean, I've tried other businesses. I had a small PR firm, different things that I was trying to do, branding and stuff like that, and still kind of do that. But I was just like, is this for me? And, is this what I really want to do? But with ServCo, that was the same question, but things started taking off. In a matter of 3 months, I got my first grant, so, and in doing that, just meeting and connecting with people, and actually the program doing well, connecting with my, YMCA partners, different people. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I got you. Okay, this is a yes, because everything keeps going, and just finding different opportunities that just come my way, and it's just like everything's yes. Because I'm like, do I really need to do this? Do I really want to do this? Keep, sometimes doubting yourself, and then he'll just send something, yes, keep going. Like, because if you keep stopping me, you're gonna have some issues. So it's just every time I question, he always sends something where it's like, yes, this is what you need to do. So
everything you do in your organization is centered around serving, how do the young people respond to that? Because I often say if you show them a place that they can give or how they can serve their community, they will thrive in that. So how do they respond to that piece?
At first, they were looking like, okay, yeah, we know all about it. But I take kind of a different approach because I come from more of a relevant type of situation where I'm taking them and we're having real conversations. And it starts with, how do you feel about your community, first of all? Because that's the only way you're going to want to help. How do you feel about it? Because if you don't feel good about it, you're not going to want to do nothing. You don't want to talk to nobody. You're just like, whatever. And then helping them understand that they can be in charge, because most of them think that the situation's out of their control and out of their hands. So it's really coming to the foundation of why we give. Where does it come from? What how does that feel? Doesn't it make you feel good to give? And kind of like making it relevant to them. We do different activities with them when it comes to the service learning curriculum for them to understand that service isn't always people giving money. Right now, we were able at the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA give away Black Panther tickets. Nancy's Pizza, we reached out to them. They sponsored the kids' lunch afterwards. So that service, and for them to understand that and not just have this, okay, they're supposed to do it, but like what that looks like, the process, the background, that it takes energy for people to do these things, and for them just to understand that, and it makes them want to do more. So once they got that, it was like, okay, so they take initiative, they go out their way, they say thank you, so they do those things, and that's what it's all about. That's the outcome that I want.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Okay, you're home. You're my cousin, right?
Yeah, I'm your cousin.
Charleston, I was born in Orangeburg, lived in Walter.
Really?
I know
Okay.
Brian
Yeah.
Smith. I know Brian
Yes.
Smith.
Okay. Because when you said Boys and Girls Club, I said I wonder if you know
Smith
Brian.
and I go way back.
Okay. Well,
Like
Brian.
Four Flats. Now that is- But let me ask you. Now, growing up, you grew up in the Low Country. You grew up in
Yes.
South Carolina.
Yes.
Okay. And we know how that environment can be. You see a disparity. You see
Right.
the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
How did that influence you as far as what you're doing today?
Well, definitely growing up, luckily my mother was very involved, and she pushed us, even though she might have not did the things she wanted to do because she was raising 4 kids, she made sure we had, and she made sure she pushed us to do bigger and better. So looking at that, I went to an art school, went to the School of the Arts, so I've always been exposed to the things that I'm trying to expose kids to. I've always been exposed. So my situation is a little different because there were all nationalities in that one school, and we all got along, and we all benefited from each other, and we had that experience. So I can't, sometimes I tell people, that's not my story. I didn't grow up in the hood. I didn't have all of that or whatever have you. So I can still relate to you because I've had friends that lived a certain lifestyle or was exposed to certain things. But at the end of the day, it's like, what? Exposure is everything. Experience is everything. So because of that, because kids may not have a certain something or may not have the best clothes, shoes, or whatever, like that doesn't stop. That is not your story. You are not your circumstance, and you have to rise above that. But it's a mindset thing, and it's continuing encouragement and talking to them. I know it may be tired sometimes. I tell them, I know you might be tired of talking to me, but you have to understand this. I'm trying to ingrain this in your brain that you are more than your situation or your circumstance. So yeah, you can always look at me. Look at some of the people, and I tell people, share your story with kids. Share it. Let them know what's going on. Let them know that you are a human.
Yes.
And things happen. Definitely. And so they can understand you more, because if you walk, I've learned you can't walk in these places, especially when you're trying to get to know them, thinking that you're better and you know more, and you can some of those kids, they are smarter, and they can run around you, circles around you, like it's nothing. So you have to, get to their level, and be a friend. It's okay. But it's all about building relationships when it comes to them. So I definitely, growing up, it's like, okay, I know I could be better than this. My mother already instilled that in me. Let me go ahead and put that out there.
So what have you exposed the children to that just stands out to you? What is something that you can just go back and say, I'm glad we took that opportunity. I'm glad those children got an opportunity to see this.
Oh, goodness, so much. Actually, it goes back. One situation I can go back to, when in South Florida, I was a team coordinator for the Y there too. Okay. But one of my experiences, we got a grant to teach a how can I say this, preventative health type of situation, type of curriculum where we taught kids or spoke to kids about awareness and sexual behavior. Okay. So in that environment, I learned so much about them. They learned so much about me. But it was the fact that I actually just broke it down for them, because I didn't come at them like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or whatever have you. So in that moment, teaching them about that, you know, it really opened the door for us to have that conversation,
Yes.
to have a relevant conversation, to have that dialogue, and for them to say, Miss Elaine, thank you, or come to me and say, you know what, I'm having this problem or whatever have you. I didn't want to say anything. You know, kids dealing with serious stuff, you know, and for them to open up to me. And at that point, I knew, I said, okay, youth development got to be my thing, because the fact that they are opening up and the fact that, you know, they come tell me before they tell their parents, and you know, that's kind of huge and that's kind of big. So that really to me stood out, because at that time it was droves of kids. I mean, they still keep in contact with me on social media today. Hey, Miss Elaine, I remember you did X, Y, Z. You know, hey, how you doing? If I come to Atlanta, I want to see you. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I did, you know.
Well, so much of it is being available to our young people.
That's
You
right.
know, you're available.
Right.
I used to tell people, well, my son is 22 years old now.
Okay.
But there would be times I would try to talk to him, and he didn't want to talk to me. But I just kept on, you know, because
Yeah,
I knew
right.
If he knows I'm available when he's ready,
He
he'll
gonna
show up
come
in
to
my
you.
room at
Right.
2 o'clock in the morning. That's what normally happens, just so you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, and want to talk about the meaning of life. And of
Right,
course, then you're
right.
like, okay, I'm ready to talk. But because I was always available,
Right.
he knew whenever he was ready
Right.
that I would be there. And
Yeah.
that's what I hear when I hear you talk. You've made yourself available to
Right.
these young people.
Right.
And because you've been available, they feel free.
Right.
And they feel safe to be in that space with
Yeah,
you.
they do. They get a little comfortable. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, got to bring it back. But yeah, that's what I provide, and they need that.
They
Especially
do.
now, they need that.
So what does your organization need? How can our community support what you're doing?
Well, we are in 3 stages. So right now, we are looking for members, and what that looks like is I need committed people, like Ms. Antoinette's on the front line, helping, serving, giving back. So it is. You can definitely go on my website, servecommunity.org, and find out how you can volunteer and how you can become a member. Right. So that's really what we're doing right now. It's a big push for membership. We also, of course, we have our service-oriented curriculum. Well, we partner with the YMCA, but I'm definitely looking for other partners to actually teach my curriculum. It's a 12-week curriculum for our kids, middle and high school, and we're trying to incorporate the elementary school kids, because you know, for me, I like high school. I like the teens. I like the babies. I'm trying to catch you right before life happens, before real life happens. So, but definitely going back and rewriting what that looks like for elementary school kids as well, because that's another thing too. With our teen lifestyle clinic, we're doing pop-ups on those Saturdays. It's not just one set place. So they might have never gone to a coffee shop. So no, we're going to have it at a coffee shop.
Yeah,
you know,
I like
if they're
that.
working with that local business, say, hey, we're going to have about 15 teens here. Can you accommodate us? Lunch is always provided for them. And then me, I like giving people stuff. If you know me, people know Helena like to just give or whatever have you. So I always make sure I have an incentive or something for them. But just like I said, providing that for them. So local businesses, we're definitely looking for, I think, April and May to find another local business to do pop-ups. So just exposing them.
We'll connect. We'll connect.
So what
If you want to mentor or if you want to volunteer, if you're a tutor and you want to come that day, just make sure you register on our website at servecommunity.org. All the information is there, and you can get that. So, and of course we have our we're doing a fundraiser. We just kicked off our fundraiser called #Everyday Superheroes. So that pretty much, when you donate, you're pretty much providing snacks for the kids that participate in the after school program. I want to do a scholarship next year to give like a book scholarship to kids that are going to college or even a trade school. Somebody said, I need $500 just to apply for hair school or trucking school or whatever have you. We want to give that away, because it's not just about, like I said, I'm all about exposure. And most kids, generally what I'm finding is that they need to be exposed to everything, not just college, but trade and just different fields where they're like, oh, you know what, I never thought about that. I have an interest in that. So that's something that we're doing. And the parents, get your kids to sign up. If you have a high schooler and you just want to get them the extra help, have them register online. Everything's online. All the information that you need is on our website.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, tell them how they can follow you on social media.
Social media handle is serve.co1. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Just follow our page. We have so much information there. Serve.co1.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming by to share.
For having
you can hang around for the end?
Of course.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have another amazing purpose-driven person here with us. We have Vicki Kirk May, and she'll be right back with us here on the Regina Sunshine Show. God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented. talented and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life.